Hello my lovely gamers, my name is Jonal and today we're taking a look at when to use your primary, when to use your secondary fire as Genji. Now I'll be going after PC standards, so I'll call your primary fire, I will call it left clicking, I'll call it the secondary fire right clicking, that's just how my setup is. And it's the easiest way because me saying primary fire is just gonna be a big mess. I tried that in my, this is my second recording of this and it just didn't work. So primary fire is left click and secondary fire is right click, and it should be kind of obvious which one I'm talking about anyway. Now I'm going to talk about when to use these, when you should use them, what they're strong at and when they are weak at, and also giving you guys a tip for each, which is like the biggest tips that I have on those two, which I think is very important to understand. Those will come of course in this video. So let's begin. Now when do you want to use your primary fire or your left clicking? Well, first of all, it's precision shots. Let's say that you stand on a high ground, you look down at the Reinhardt, right? This happens a lot, right? The Reinhardt can rarely shoot at them and it's very free will charge. Now you have a choice, you can either use your right click, you can use your secondary fire, and you can land triple shurikens to the body. However, a lot of times, you can maybe land one to the head and then two to the body. However, even though you can land those three, if you use your left click or your primary fire, you can land 3 headshots in a row. That's because it's way better at precision. The same goes for if someone is asleep, he's laying down. A lot of time it's better that you just toss 3 shurikens to the head and then dash him. If he only has 200 HP, that will insta-kill him, unless he has some kind of bubble or drop beat around him or something like that. Same goes for Widowmakers, same goes for Anas. When they scope, they rarely move that much. Landing 3 shurikens, and especially since there's normal distance, is the best to do that with your left click, your primary fire, so because it's way more precise, and then just dash them, and that will instantly kill them. It's also used to just spam. If everyone is stuck in a choke, they're pushing a choke or something, they don't have shield, they have shield, just tossing these shurikens in there is just a big annoyance. And if you toss around head height, you probably will land some headshots, which really weakens them even before their push, also giving you free ult charge. And if you're lucky, it indicates their HP bars, and if you're lucky and you land enough headshot, then you can dash it and maybe get a free kill. Even like in the beginning of their engagement, you can get a free dash, and then a dash reset, making their entire group really weak. And then, like, the biggest thing is in-betweeners. If you wanna dive that Ana, you wanna dash onto the Ana, you wanna kill her with your right clicks. However, the Ana has, as we know, she has 200 HP plus she has her nade. It's way better that you kinda toss a couple of your shurikens, a couple of your left clicks, because they're way more precise at like a medium range distance or something. You land like 2 body shots, maybe you land a couple of headshots, something like that, right? So you're bringing down her HP. If she nades at that moment, then you can dash in. In general, you just toss a couple of shurikens so that you have this advantage of bringing her low before you engage. Then you can dash in and start using your right clicks or secondary fire in close range. But doing these in-betweeners, as soon as you are like out of your comfort range with your right click, as soon as you're out of that comfort range, just tossing left clicks directly at them because they're so much precise is the better way to maximize your DPS output, especially since you can land so many more headshots with your primary fire if you know how to aim with it. And then like the biggest tip that I can give you for your primary fire is that think about it, if you ever played any game with a proper recoil, then you know that if you aim a lot of time at the torso and you hold the fire button, your gun will automatically like recoil up to the enemy head. It's very predominant in games like Rainbow Six Siege. You see it a lot. If they can't land the headshot, a lot of time people aim at the chest and then it will instantly go up to the head, right? Now shurikens of course don't have that kind of recoil. However, if you jump, when you jump around like Genji, if you aim around somewhere around like the chest area, and you do that when you are on the low ground, then you jump, then your shurikens will also of course move up with you. So it will be body shot, and then it might be another body shot, and then it will be the headshot in the end. So when you're jumping, by using your elevation, you land very consistent shurikens, because you are aiming at the body, and then because the elevation is bringing you up, it's always going to be like body shot, headshot, or body shot, headshot, because you're using your elevation when you go up and down to make this kind of like, almost like a ladder, right? In these 3 different elevations, your shurikens will come and hit 3 different points. And that can be way more precise than double jumping and aiming for head, because sure, you might aim if you are on the top and then you toss instantly when you have maximized your jump, then you can land triple headshots in midair. But besides that, if you toss in the middle of your jump, you will start missing stuff, right? You will hit the first one maybe, and then the 2 others, because you have already increased your elevation, will fly straight over the head of the Ana or the Zenyatta or whatever you're aiming at. So that's the biggest tip, that using your elevation, knowing how to use your elevation to make these like kind of ladders is a good way to maximize your DPS as Genji. Then we go over to your right clicks or secondary fire, and these are of course good in close combat. And this is like the most important. If you had to choose between like being super good at right clicking or super good at left clicking, choose the secondary fire, choose the right click, because close combat shuriken tossing is the highest DPS output you can get. They are thrown way faster than your primary fire, your left clicking, way faster, so you have a high DPS output, and they are the one that is mostly used because you normally dash to close distance, dealing 50 to 80 damage, and then you start right clicking him straight into the head. So close combat is when these guys are used. And then they use, of course, high DPSing on tanks and shields, because these are, the reason that we have to use them in so close range, right, is because they are like a fan. They spread out the further out they go. However, tanks are way bigger hitboxes, so of course, even though they are way worse at being very precise at those ranges, you can land them onto shields like a Winston bubble and break it way faster, and apply pressure somewhere like a Reinhardt. So if you're looking at the Reinhardt's back, for example, it's really hard to hit his head. However, hitting his back with just right clicking is super easy, even if you are at a kind of further distance than what you would probably never use your right click on something like an Ana on that range. However, Reinhardt's so big, so just right clicking him in the ass almost is the easy way to just deal insane amount of damage to him and maximize your DPS output to build Dragon Blade or something like that. And the tips that I have for your right clicks, which is actually a really big tip that I thought of, you don't aim directly at people at times. As you can see on the screen right now, it should be rolling. By aiming my crosshair directly at the head, I can land 1. However, when I aim a little bit to the side and toss, I can land 2. This is normally what happens when people do all this like flicking. Have you seen a good Genji, or you seen me play or something? A lot of time we dash and then we do a 180 or a 60 degree rotation or something like that, a 90 degree rotation onto the enemy, and then we toss, and then we land 2 shurikens to the head. Sometimes we are close enough and the hitbox is large enough, but a lot of time the crosshair is actually not pointing directly over the head of the enemy. It's a little bit to the side of him. So when we toss, the first and the second shuriken will both hit because of the way that their fan is made. It's spreading out, right? This is of course not how, this is exactly opposite of how you would use your primary fire, because primary fire is in a straight line where you're aiming is where you're kind of gonna land. However, the right click, not aiming always directly at the head and not learning always to learn at the head is very nice to know. It needs to be taught and integrated into your playstyle, because when you're flick aiming, it's kind of not something that you can like think that, oh, I need to flick a little bit left of his head. Something needs to be taught, of course, but it's very nice to have those in the book, that you're not practicing on aiming directly at him head and then right clicking, because in a lot of situations that's actually going to give you a lower DPS output. Not always, but a lot of the times. Besides, guys, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, then press like and subscribe and all that, and dislike if you didn't like, and drop down in the comments what you think. And I hope that this helped you out a lot. I'm starting Twitch streaming. I'm gonna say that again if you haven't noticed. There's a link to my Twitch down in the description, and the time zones is there and all that. I normally do it, I think it's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday and something like that. That's normally when I do Twitch streaming, and it's really fun, and it'd be cool if you guys want to jump in. If not, then I really recommend you guys join the Discord community, because it's an amazing community. There's memes and everything. It's a really good chat. When it's a little bit slow to get started, of course, we're not the biggest community, but we have been growing so much. And also thank you, of course, to all the new subscribers, over 2,900 subscribers. That's absolutely amazing. I want to thank you all for the support. And the Discord community is growing in size. They're being more and more active, and it's really cool to see all these new players coming in, talking and having fun and engaging in discussions and conversations, stuff like that. Besides, guys, I hope you guys have a lovely gaming experience. As always, guys, my name is Jonal. As always, keep me in your crosshair.